All right, guys, so we're recording. This is, I'm John at CrossFit Dynamo, and today we've got Elise with us. She's going to help us flex our finances today. She's got a relatively new business where she's going to be helping people with their finances. I guess it was brought up mainly through the COVID thing, catching people off guard, being prepared for the next COVID or whatever happens, coming out of a COVID, and then just basic hacks, tips, tricks, and all that kind of stuff for getting a hold of your finances and living a better life, right? Absolutely. So, Elise, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thanks, John.
And welcome everybody, and thanks for coming today.
Yes, thank you guys all so much for coming and joining us on Zoom. For those of you that are there, I've really missed all of you, and so it's nice to see some smiling faces again. And I hope to see more of you all soon. So ground rules real quick for those of you here in the room. Don't be shy. I'm here for you today. I may ask for some audience participation. Please chime in. There's no wrong answers. This is going to be kind of fun and informal. Feel free to ask questions as we go. If there's something pertinent to the slide we're talking about. If it's kind of off topic, either save it to the end. I'll do a little Q&A session, or you can come talk to me privately after we wrap up. So a good information session usually answers the 6 questions: who, what, where, when, why, and how, right? And I'm going to do that today, albeit a little bit out of order. I'm going to do when, where, why, who, what, how. So when is right now, and where is right here at CrossFit Dynamo. So why talk about personal finance here? Well, CrossFit Dynamo is built on community, right? It's a community of wellness-minded individuals and families. And what we have here is the wellness wheel. You'll see different iterations of this if you see online. This particular one came from the Yale School of Medicine, and it talks about the 8 elements that make up your personal wellness. We cover a lot of these at CrossFit Dynamo. Of course, we cover physical wellness, right? We're working out, trying to eat right, hydrate, sleep. Social wellness. It's been a little tough lately, but normally this is really a great place of social wellness where we get to hang out, connect with our friends. Which leads to intellectual wellness. We get group interaction, we get community involvement, occupational wellness, certainly for John, for his coaches, for any of us who volunteer to help out here, we get some occupational fulfillment and wellness out of this place. And if you've participated in or watched 24 and 24, you know there's definitely a lot of emotional, spiritual, environmental, it's all going on that day, right? So number 8 here on the wellness wheel is financial wellness. So if we're pretty much covering all the others here at Dynamo, why not talk about our financial wellness as well?
Not my financial wellness.
Not Dynamo's financial wellness.
Okay.
All of our financial wellness.
Oh, well, I'm in the wrong class.
Dynamo inclusive. We should talk 101, John. So who's AJ Money Coach? So I've been called a lot of things in my life, but some of these things up here are the ones that have uniquely positioned me for talking about personal finance. It's not really about my college degrees or about my financial coaching certification. It's really more about my life experiences. I spent nearly 25 years in my career in corporate accounting before I decided to launch my financial coaching business. When I got married for the first time at age 27, we had over $60,000 in debt, not counting the mortgage on the house we just bought. Yeah, I've been there. And then I was widowed at 36 years old, 9 years later. And thankfully, we had gotten intentional with our finances prior to that, and we had paid off all of our consumer debt the year before he passed away. Huge blessing, because I can't even imagine the kind of financial stress I would have had hitting that point in my life and having to deal with that. So I remarried a Marine, also a fellow widow, and lived the unique life as a military spouse for several years until he retired. I volunteered with an organization where I helped sailors and Marines learn how to budget, how to save their money, how to get themselves out of financial crises, and how to better their financial positions. I'm currently a volunteer coordinator for Financial Peace University. It's a course that helps families learn how to find financial peace in their lives. And of course, now I'm a full-time financial coach with my business called AJ Money Coach. It's part of an LLC that Eric and I formed with the vision lifting others to build greater communities. So you might want to know, what's a financial coach? What is that? What isn't it? Not quite sure. So a financial coach is someone who helps you build strong financial habits. It's someone who listens to you. It's someone who helps educate and instills hope in their clients. And it's someone who will guide you and provide accountability along the journey. It's a coach, right? It's like a fitness coach, just with your money. It's gonna educate you, gonna help provide accountability, kind of show you the ropes and let you take the journey. So I help people tackle their money issues with dignity and integrity. What a financial coach isn't. I do not sell any financial instruments. I don't sell insurance. I don't sell investments or funds. I'm not making any kind of money doing anything like that. So I have no skin in that game. I don't ever provide transactional advice, or I never would tell you what to do with your money. I may make some recommendations, but you're always going to be in the driver's seat. And I don't judge. We've all made money mistakes or poor choices in the past. I just fessed up to some of mine. No one's here to judge. It's about what you do starting today and going forward. So, what does financial wellness entail? First of all, identify. That means identifying your relationship with money. Your relationship with money can be a balance of your mental, spiritual, and physical aspects of money. This can come from your upbringing, how you were raised, how your parents looked at money or treated money, kind of household you came from. It can come from your personal experiences. It can also come from fear for a lot of people. A lot of people can be really motivated money-wise by fear. Number two is learn. It's learning skills to manage your financial resources, no matter what you have. No matter whether you have a little bit of resources or a lot of resources, it really doesn't matter. It's about managing what you have. Third is putting it into practice. So put into practice what you've learned, and most importantly, learn to live within your financial means. Number four is plan. It's about planning for your future financial health. It's planning for the financial health of your family, possibly the financial health of your children, how you set them up to succeed in life. And number five is working the plan together. And what I mean by that is, oops, sorry, got one head there. Well, what I meant by that is that it's working with your spouse or your partner together, and even your children, to find financial peace in your house. All right, so the next three slides here come from a survey done by the nonprofit American Consumer Credit Counseling Group. I'm going to just kind of flip through and let you see them. For those of you on Zoom, maybe hard to see them, but I'll get with you later. Some of these results may hit close to home. Some of these may be things you dealt with in your past relationships. I'll just flip through them, talking about money stress in relationships. 67% of respondents say they argue with their significant other about money. And the longer relationship oftentimes includes more money stress. The sweet spot of 10 to 20 years is a little alarming here, right? Yeah, some of us are in that, right?
In the 20 years, yeah, not the arguing part.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Whenever I say this.
Most common causes of relationship stress. 54% said money was the most common cause of relationship stress. And 79% of people said financial issues strained the relationship in some way. And this one I found was the most interesting, that making more money does not equal less money stress. In fact, there is a significant spike here in this like $100,000 to $150,000 annual income range. I mean, a significant spike. And I have a lot of theories about why that is, and I'll keep those to myself, or can chat about them later if you'd like. But I find this really interesting. All right, so the average American household, and this is pre-COVID-19, guys. These stats are from the fourth quarter of last year. United States household debt topped $14 trillion for the first time. That is bananas. I mean, that is just mind-boggling to me. And can you imagine what those numbers might look like now? We're 6 months past these statistics. I found some updated stats for about 3 months ago, but that was still like right at the very top of COVID, and it was just a little bit over this. Not surprisingly, 70% of that is made up of mortgages and HELOCs, but 11% of that number is student loans, 10% auto loans, 6% credit cards, and 3% other debt, like medical, personal loans, things like that. Home equity line of credit. So basically taking more secured debt out against your house to do whatever you want with it, right? Presumably it's to fix up your house and add equity to it, but you could borrow that and go buy a car or go on a huge shopping spree. And people do, and that's bananas. You're gonna lose your house over that if you can't pay it back. So what's really crazy is, to me, is like student loans, it's of this amount, like 11.5% of those student loans are more than 90 days delinquent. And 8.5% of these credit card balances are more than 90 days delinquent. Again, pre-COVID. So imagine what we're looking at now. So our friend COVID-19 here, he looks cute, he's not. What has this taught us? I think what it's taught a lot of people is that income from your employer is not guaranteed. Don't let that be the only thing you rely on. The most financially stable companies have multiple revenue streams, and the most financially stable households have multiple sources of income or a good reserve of savings to help get them by. The company you work for, sorry, my mouse is very sorry, guys. The company you work for may have gone out of business. It might have had to close down for a period of time. You may have been laid off. You may have been temporarily furloughed. You may still be furloughed. There may still be a possibility of getting furloughed. Like, we're not through this yet, right? So you've gotta have more than one option out there. And the government can't count, so please don't count on them to save you and to save your financial future. Number two, having a backup plan for employer-provided health insurance. A lot of people are providing health insurance for their family through the company they work for. What happens when that job goes away, right? If you have a spouse that also works and that's an option to convert to their employer plan, that's great. But if you don't, or you want to be a little more conservative, have some money set aside to purchase health insurance out on the market, or to pay for COBRA if you're eligible for it, and you get separated. Because what you don't want, especially when the financial crisis is also a health pandemic, is to be exposed out there and not have protection for your family. Number three, build a solid emergency fund. You might say, how much? It's however much you need to feel safe and secure is the real answer. There's a lot of recommendations out there for 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. That's a great place to start. But the fact of the matter is, if that's not enough to make you feel safe, then you need to have more saved up. I'm pretty conservative. 3 to 6 months, that's not enough for me. Look how long we've been in the COVID mess. We're already past 3 months. We're in that 3 to 6 month range. And now there's talk about things closing down again and all this other stuff. So if you only had 3 months saved up, you might have blown through it already. So 3 to 6 months is a great place to start, and start now. But the true answer is, it's however much you need to sleep at night. I'm gonna be honest. If you don't have an emergency fund at all, you're exposed. You probably felt yourself be exposed. There's a saying that when the tide goes out, we can tell who's been skinny dipping. And we'll find a lot of those people now. You never heard that? Well, the tide's gone out on a lot of people, and there's a lot of exposed people out there right now. And it's hard. So, and the last thing I put, well, not the last, but one of the last things I put here is level up your financial literacy. You're here today, and you're on the Zoom here today, hopefully to learn something and improve your position. We can all learn more. We can always do better. You're already upping your financial literacy, and that's going to put you ahead of the game. So I found this interesting. This is a 2020 Personal Finance Index stat talking about financial literacy. And down here is the scale of your financial literacy from high to low. And it talks about where you are on the scale. People with high financial literacy have a 77% chance of being able to come up with $2,000 if they had an unexpected emergency within the next 30 days. People with low financial literacy, only a 21% chance. So the more you know, knowledge is power, right? The more you know, you're gonna have a better chance of dealing with a financial shock. And a financial shock is what the country and all of us have just experienced, right? It's been a big shock. All right, this one's kind of my favorite. So think back to a time in your life when you experienced a crisis. This could be a job crisis. This could be a relationship crisis, a divorce, a health crisis, anything like that, right? Think back to a crisis in your life. And did you reach a breaking point during that crisis where you said, never again will I blank, 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 right? Like, never again will I let a boss harass me. Or never again will I let my husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend treat me that way, right? Or never again will I neglect my health by avoiding going to the doctor. So how about never again will I be unprepared financially? And this is the one that many people are dealing with right now. This is what a lot of people are learning. They were exposed. They lost their job, they had no savings, they had a lot of debt, they've got big payments to make, and the world's coming crashing down. And pain is a very thorough teacher. If you've been through pain of any kind, it teaches us lessons. And so if you're one of the people, or you have someone in your family or friends or coworkers that you know right now is in this moment of crisis financially based on what's going on, I hope they're having their never again moment and saying, I will never again find myself in this position. So COVID-19, what now? So I put this little what's next photo in here, but the truth of the matter is we have no idea what's next. I mean, if this dust cloud is coming, if we're closing everything down again tomorrow, if the state... Right, we hope not, but if the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is coming over the mountain to get us, like, nothing's going to surprise me at this point. So we don't know what's next, and we really never will know what's next, right? So what we can do is to try to position ourselves in the best possible way to face whatever comes next. And, you know, COVID-19, whatever this wraps up is going to go, might be COVID-21, I don't even know. Will go down in history, but what you do right now will determine your family's history. So the first thing I've got up there says protect your four walls. And what that means is if you're in a crisis situation, the first thing you've got to do is protect your four walls. That is your shelter, your home, your utilities to keep that home water and electricity, right? Heat and cool. Food for you and your family, and transportation to hopefully get you to an income producing place like your job, right? Or to the hospital or whatever you need. Those are really the four things you focus on. If you are in an absolute crisis, that's what you gotta work on. That's all you can focus on, and that's okay. Don't even worry about the next things down the list. Focus on that until you're out of crisis mode. Number two, if you're not in crisis mode, stay calm and stay the course. Do not throw away all of your long-term financial goals just because of panic and emotion. There are people that are pulling all their money out of their retirement accounts. They're pulling their money out of the stock market. They're pulling all of their investments. That's shaking her head, I think. Do not do that. Unless you are in some kind of major crisis, like where you're literally going to be homeless on the streets tomorrow, please don't pull your money out of your retirement accounts. I know the CARES Act has made it where there's no penalty to take money out of your 401k. Well, guess what? There's still taxes. And the money that you're going to lose by doing that in terms of time value of money and compound interest and stuff like that, I don't get into all that nerdy stuff, but I promise you it's going to cost you way more than you think. All right, number three, stockpile cash if you need to build a solid reserve. So remember that emergency fund we just talked about. So if you don't have one, or you feel like it's insufficient, it's maybe not enough to make you feel safe, then, and you've got an income right now, maybe you need to beef that up. Beef that up so that when the next wave comes, whatever it is, you feel a little better and you can sleep at night. Just get on it. A budget cleanse. So a budget cleanse is kind of like a juice cleanse, right? It's it may or may not be painful, but it's going to be uncomfortable. And what that means is, you know, taking a hard look at where you're spending your money. You know, take 30 days and track everything, whether that's pulling your bank statement, keeping receipts for 30 days, you know, writing on there, categorize everything, and take a hard look at how much you're spending on things like clothes or eating out now that restaurants are kind of back open, your daily coffee at Starbucks, whatever it is. The first thing to do is just to kind of have a vision of what that is, and it can be really eye-opening sometimes. So if you do 30 days, if you commit to 30 days to just really have an awareness of where you're spending your money, and then see where you can, clean that up. There's areas where we're all probably hemorrhaging money that we don't even realize. COVID's been really interesting because I think for a lot of people, the whole eating out in restaurants went way down, right? But our grocery bills probably went through the roof, right? We're eating at home a lot more. Might have felt the need to snack a little more. Might have felt the need to drink a little more. Whatever the case may be. So it's kind of interesting thing to look at.
There's a corollary there, right? If you've ever gone through any of the challenge stuff that we've done, where it's like I've asked you to track everything that goes through the lips, that's teeth, right? Oh, I had no idea that handful of nuts or this, that, or the other. So what she's talking about with that 30-day budget plan, keep every receipt, keep anything where you have outgoing money to whatever it is, right? So that's the minutia that you want to get into. And that's why it's not necessarily painful, but it's a little uncomfortable. Now you're having to keep everything and then track everything. It's just a lot more discipline. But just like being conscious of everything that goes into you, you're now conscious of everything that goes out of your wallet. And that can really lighten up. I mean, just put on a light bulb, right?
There's so many corollaries here, and that's why it's part of the wellness wheel. It's part of it. It's no different than anything else. And it's the awareness. It is. It's absolutely. You grab a couple cookies, you grab this, you don't think about it. You start tracking it, and you're like, holy cow, that was 1,000 extra calories. 1,000 extra calories that I didn't even realize I ate today.
That's right.
Of junk.
Yeah. I didn't think crumbs had it.
Exactly. Like when I took the bag back, right?
Yes. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry at all. Absolutely. That's the point I'm trying to make here. So what else? But wait, there's more. Pay off your consumer debt. So if you still have an income or you have ample savings, take this opportunity to get debt out of your life as quickly as possible. Do not take on any new debt. Please do not take on any new debt. Because how much easier would a financial crisis be to weather if you had no payments to worry about? Like if you lost your job tomorrow and you're like, well, I just got to pay my mortgage or my rent or whatever, but I don't have a car payment and a minimum credit card payment and student loan payments and whatever else. It'd be a lot easier to kind of take a breath and recover from. Consider refinancing your mortgage. So interest rates are at an all-time low. And the reason I have consider in capital is because it's not a great solution for everybody. To even consider it, I think you need to make sure that you plan to stay in your home for at least 5 more years and that you can reduce your interest rate by at least 2% or more. Anything else, you're really not going to save any money because there's going to be closing costs, possibly loan origination costs, all those things associated with the refi, and you're not even going to break even and you could end up costing yourself more money. So just take that into consideration. It's a consideration, but it's not I'm not telling anybody to go out and do it because it may not make sense. We just moved our house a year ago. That doesn't make any sense at all to do something like that. And then the last thing is a little plug for a household planning tool that I offer through my business, and it's called Protect Your Family's Tree. It's a strategic plan that we developed as a guideline to take action when the household is facing a reduction of income, either temporarily or permanently. And it addresses both income generation and expense reduction. And it's a little complicated to explain, so I'll happy to do a demo afterwards for anybody. But what it looks like is, this is your family's tree. When things are good, when everybody's working full time, there's no COVID going on, your money's coming in, everything's great, right? And then bam, something happens, somebody's hours get reduced, or somebody in the family loses a job, right? And your fruits fall off your tree, okay? So now your income's been reduced in your household a little bit. And you say, how am I gonna make this up? And then maybe something else happens and the flowers fall off the tree, and now your income's down to 50% as it was. Like maybe you're a dual income family and one person's completely lost their job. And then things get worse. The person who's still working gets their hours reduced, and the leaves fall off the tree. And it starts to get kind of sad and scary, right? It's really scary. And then maybe that person becomes disabled or something, or the world completely shuts down and the limbs can fall off the tree. Fall off the tree there. And this is like bad news, right? So what this plan does is it creates a template for your household to sit down and create agreed upon steps that you will take for each level. Like, hey, if our income gets cut by 25%, we agree that the first thing we're going to do is cancel Netflix, and we're going to, start eating at home more, and maybe Junior can't go to soccer camp this summer, or maybe we need to tone down our vacation we were going to take. It doesn't matter. Everybody's plan's going to be different. It's just a matter that you and whoever you are in your household, your partner, your spouse, agrees upon it ahead of time. And then you have the next step to say, well, if it's 50%, what else are we going to do? What other steps are we going to do? And that could not just be cut expenses. It could mean, hey, one of us is going to start driving for Uber part-time to make some more money, or go work at Home Depot. So there's ways to increase income and cut expenses, and you can do any combination of those to help your household. And the important thing is that you agree upon it ahead of time, because what can happen is when something happens and somebody's like, oh no, we got to cut back, it can become an argument, right? It can become, well, why do I have to, give up my video game subscription that you still get to get your nails done? Like there's just, right, there can be arguments going on there. So what this does is you previously agreed that these are the steps we're going to take in this order to make this up. And you can go in at any time and change your plan as life evolves, but when this crisis happens, you bring it out and you go, okay, we're here, we're at this point, this is what we said we were going to do. And if you get back to work and the income picks back up, then we can add those things back. But this is what we're going to do to get us through this time. So afterwards, I'm happy to show anybody a quick demo of this product we've done. So let me ask you something. How many people here are on the Zoom know your 1 rep max deadlift? Anybody know it? Yeah? John, what's your 1 rep max deadlift?
415.
415, awesome. Ooh, wow. That's pretty good. How about your max back squat? Anybody know your max back squat? Julio. 315, very good, killer. It hurts my back just thinking about it. All right, so nobody needs to answer this one out loud, but does anybody know their net worth off the top of their head? Good. I'm glad to hear that. Or within the last 30 days, you just fired off the top of your head?
4 million.
Excellent.
That would have been nice.
What was your back squat, right?
Yeah, right.
So your net worth is a very, very simple equation. It's what you own minus what you owe, right? It's what you own minus what you owe, that's your net worth. And why is this important? So knowing your net worth is key. So many people focus on increasing their income, or they're going after a bigger salary or a raise or a new job that pays more. And that's great. Your income is your biggest wealth building tool, but it's about increasing your net worth. Because think about it. You could go get a job paying double what you make today, but if you spend it all, are you really increasing your position at all? No, you probably have more crap in your house, but you haven't really improved your financial position. So it's less about how much you make and what you do with it. And knowing your net worth is the key to tracking that. So it's like you can't track anything fitness related, right? You can't track your gains if you're not tracking your max lifts or your muscle mass or your body measurements or maybe your weight or whatever, right? Whatever measurements or tracking that you need to tell yourself that you're making gains in the fitness world. Well, this is how you track if you're making gains in your financial position. So I encourage you to start tracking your net worth today. If you don't know it, go home, try to figure it out. If you need any help, let me know.
It's harder than you think. It'd be a lot harder than you think. And that's why you need to do that cleanse.
Yes, yes. But but it can be easy too.
Well, once you get it set up, it's a lot better.
Sure. You just have to think of everything. You got to really think of everything you own, and you got to think of everything you own. If you forget things, then it's bad, and then garbage in, garbage out, right? Then your numbers junk.
It's forgetting other things that you own.
Right. Other things you own. Yes. Right.
I mean, you would. I guess it's more of a budgetary thing, and I don't want to get us off track. Like consumables, like tires or batteries or something like that, where you got to have a slush fund for that, so then right?
Yeah. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in budgeting.
Okay.
So you might want to know, well, what's the winning formula? Is there like a magic pill, a magic formula? Well, of course there's not. But if I want to break it down really simply, I'm going to use a football analogy here. So 2 things you need to win at football, right? And at personal finance. You need a good offense and a good defense. I can't believe I'm going to bring this up, but does anybody remember Super Bowl 51 with the Falcons and the Patriots? And I'm still hurt. Well, it's too soon for me too. I cried putting down my notes. I cried putting down my notes for this story. Guys, I'm a big Falcons fan. No, trust me. This hurt to write this story. So let me tell you a quick little story. So Eric and I were living in Okinawa, Japan during that season, and the entire football season, I woke up at 2 a.m. every Monday morning to watch the Falcons because that's what time they came on with the time change. So 2 a.m. for the entire season. And it was so worth it. I mean, they had an incredible season. And I was doing a whole bunch of loud cheering at obscene times in my little Japanese neighborhood where my neighbors probably thought that I was bananas. Probably going to call the police on me. And right through the playoffs, like through the NFC Championship game against the Packers, it was just an incredible game. They were firing on all cylinders. And so Super Bowl day comes around, and it's 8 a.m. on a Monday morning for us. And Eric had the day off because in the Marine Corps, if you're overseas, it's considered a holiday, Super Bowl.
Wow.
So, absolutely. Don't say working for the government doesn't have some perks. Well, when Super Bowl comes on at 8 a.m. Monday, I think they just figure, no Marines are going to be working, so we'll just give them the day off, let them watch the Super Bowl and hang out. So, best day ever, right? Best day ever. First quarter comes along, it's scoreless, everything's looking good. Falcons come alive in the second quarter. They scored 21 unanswered points. And they make it almost to halftime, 21-0. 2 seconds before halftime, Patriots kick a field goal. All right, big whoop, 21-3, right? We get midway through the third quarter, and Falcons are now up 28-3. And they have a 25-point lead. And I'm starting to get excited. I'm about to celebrate here. I'm like getting my Facebook post ready for I've been waiting for this moment all my life. I've got it all queued up to post, but I'm not talking any smack yet, but I got it all ready. And so less than 10 minutes in the game, less than 10 minutes in the fourth quarter, Falcons are still up 28-12. I mean, the defense has given up some, but we still had a 16-point lead. And in those less than 10 minutes, as you remember, the Patriots came back, tied the game, sent it to overtime, and then promptly scored another touchdown to win 34-28. And I cried. And I hid in the laundry room because Eric would turn off the TV and I didn't want to listen to Tom Brady celebrating. And I sat in the laundry room and cried my head off. And then I went for a run and we were okay. But anyway, this is the equivalent of earning a really healthy salary and then spending it all, right? You need defense in your personal financial plan because if you spend more than you earn, like the Falcons did, you put yourself deeper and deeper into debt and you're going to certainly lose the game. My slides are loading really slow. I apologize. I don't know why. All right. So why do we need a budget? So another quick little story. I was with a friend in a car one time. This was years ago, but we saw this really strong, lean man running down the road. And my friend said something to the extent of, gosh, I see this guy running down here every single day. I mean, look at him. He's already fit. Why does he need to run? He's already fit. And I was kind of like, well, just because he got fit by running doesn't mean he just stops running, right? I mean, it's like you come to the gym. There's plenty of you here that are very fit and plenty of people who come to this gym that are very, very fit. They don't just stop, right? They just don't go home and eat Oreos. Like you've got to continue. I mean, for a day or two, yeah, sure. But you got to continue your behavior to maintain or improve your position in fitness. It's the same thing with money. So you don't just stop budgeting when you get out of debt, or you don't just stop budgeting once you have some emergency savings built up. You don't stop budgeting once you're like, hey, I'm contributing to my retirement account, I'm good to go, right? My slides are going so slow now, guys. So sorry. So budgets are nothing if not a statement of priorities. And
You have blow in there, as in cocaine or blow money away?
like you're below money, yeah, not cocaine. Thanks for noticing.
We're foreigners.
Good catch. Yeah, you know, my mind didn't go there.
We're partying together.
Colombians.
It means you're free money to do whatever you want with it. So as you wish. Please don't, man. Please don't. All right, so why to budget and keep budgeting? So budgets help us assign value to things, right? We don't pay for things with money. We pay for them with the hours of our lives that we traded for money. And, you know, if you think about that, it's like every time you're going to buy something, you're like, how many hours did I work to earn this, to buy this? How bad do I really want this?
Well, let's start with that.
yeah, it's a game
I
changer.
did it all the time with my kids because I was like, I don't make a preschool teacher.
Yeah.
You don't make much money. I was like,
Yeah.
do you know how many hours I work to pay for
Good.
this?
It's a game changer. And if you do it, even if you do it to yourself, like you're like, do I really want that? Like I spent 5 hours busting it at work for this? No, not something
Like a Snickers 271 burpees or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you know, do I want the Snickers bar? I do 271 burpees. Like, forget about it. That's ridiculous. Good.
If you spend this 10K, you know how much revenue you have to make
To get that, right? Right? After cost, after taxes.
5% even at the end, so multiply up and oh,
You didn't count credit?
no,
Okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah, so there you go. I was like, EBITDA. You said EBITDA. I'm like, nobody else would know that means. I was like, woo, you're speaking my language, bro. So, you know, people think budgets are limiting, but if you really look at it, a budget doesn't limit your freedom. It gives you the freedom to spend your money on the things that you value. And you're telling your money where to go. You don't wonder where it went. You're saying, this is what I value, and this is what I want to spend my money on. It's not a punishment. It's actually a form of self-love. You know, you're kind of sitting there saying, hey, I earn this money. I value this thing over here, whether it's an experience or a new car or whatever it is. And I have the freedom to spend it on that because that's what I value, and I put it in my budget. So I'm asking another question here. Let me see where I'm going with this. My slides are so slow. Going off my computer. So who here knows their Fran time? I know people. I won't make you answer it, but how about your grace time? Right? You can look off the board there.
Yeah.
But we track these things, right? So does anybody know their retirement number? Anybody know what I mean by retirement number, right?
I don't anymore.
Like an age, like you thinking like, oh, 65, 66, or whenever I can collect Social Security. Is that what you think?
50.
50? Yeah. Well, yeah.
I want 50.
So yeah, mine since I was about 26 years old was 52. Is what I told myself and what I've been planning for because I was 26 at the time, and I thought, oh, I'll give myself 26 more years, 52. But it might surprise you that I'm not even asking about an age. I'm asking about a dollar amount. And I'm not asking if they say it. I'm just saying, would it surprise you to learn that retirement is a financial number and not an age, right? It's not about some arbitrary age that the government told us that we should or can stop working. What I mean is your retirement should be the amount that you need to live the life in retirement that you've always dreamed of. And so when you break it down like that, there's actually just a very simple formula for it. And I won't get into the whole formula here. There's tools out there that can help you calculate it, but you can basically say, how much money am I going to need to live off of a month? And I do not include Social Security in that because I just don't trust that it's going to be there. And if it is, then hey, icing on the cake, I can go on more vacations, right? But if not, it's like, how much money do I need to be able to pull from my retirement accounts, from my savings, to cover the expenses that I anticipate that I will have when I want to retire? And I say, how old am I now? And how much money do I have saved towards it now? And how much more do I need to get there? And how many years do I have left? that's how much money I should be putting away in retirement to get myself there. And that number can be 45 or 55 or 65 or 75. My dad just turned 70. He's still working, and for a lot of reasons. I never wanted to be that person. If I want to work at 70, it's going to be because I want to work at 70 and because I love what I'm doing, not because I have to.
But that's also a difference. Like you can retire, or you can be financially independent. I mean, it's
Correct. Correct. And retirement, I think a lot of us grew up with retirement. I think our grandparents like, you left your job after 30 years and you had a retirement party and then you like played golf and watched The Price is Right all day. Like retirement is not really that, right? For most people, for most people it can be, you're retiring maybe from the job you had, but you're doing something on your own venture, or you're volunteering, or you're just financially independent and you can work when you want and not work when you want. Eric was in the military for 22 years, so he's retired from the military at 45 years old. And that doesn't mean he's like retired, like sitting at home or playing golf. I mean, he probably would like to be, but it's boring. Yeah, it's boring when you're 45 years old. Like you still got life in you. You got to be doing something. You got to exercise your brain, right? So
that was my dad. He retired when he was 35, and he was bored out of his mind.
Yeah.
And he went back to work after 3 years.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to have something to do.
Right.
So real quick, let's talk insurance. Like I said at the beginning, I don't sell insurance. It's just sort of another form of risk mitigation. It's something I work with my clients on to say, hey, this is part of your overall financial wellness and preparedness. So take a quick look at what's up here and just kind of think mentally, how many of these tools do you have in your toolbox? And do you have any that you should have, but you don't? And I'll be honest, Eric and I think we have 7, he said 6, so I'll give it 6.5, because like one of them is a little personal and one of us has it and one of us doesn't, but 6, 7, right? Long-term care insurance is something that we will purchase, but we just haven't yet because of our age. There's kind of a sweet spot, I believe, on that, and I think we're a little too young still to need to purchase that, but we will. And then there's a couple others on there that are actively on our to-do list, and we just haven't done them yet. So nobody's perfect. We got to keep up on this. Again, I don't sell it. I don't have anything to gain financially. It's just trying to give education out here.
Can I ask you about umbrella insurance?
Uh-huh.
When we moved from the north, they told us, hey, in your address, you have to have it because if you hit a car, there's a lot of cars here that cost $300,000 to $400,000. So if you hit a car that's going to be like that, your insurance is not going to cover it. So we've been paying it forever. But this year, I've asked a couple of people, do you have this? Do you have this? You don't have this.
What is an umbrella insurance?
So umbrella insurance is a policy, and it's very cheap. It's like maybe $200 a year, and it can provide you an extra like $1 million or $2 million of umbrella coverage that covers all of the rest of your stuff. So it's over and above your homeowner's insurance or your car insurance or whatever. So like Julio said, if you, God forbid, hit a bus full of kids on the highway and you had like 50 hospitalizations there, most people's car insurance is not enough to cover that. This is going to cover above and beyond. Or your homeowner's insurance. If something happens at your home or somebody gets hurt at your home and they sue you, it's covering you above and beyond your policy limit. And like I said, it's very inexpensive for the peace of mind it gives you. I'm not selling insurance. I don't sell insurance. We have always had it for as long as Eric and I have been together, for sure. We have a pool in our home now. We had a pool in our home in California. I didn't want to hit a bus full of nuns. Like I wasn't going to lose everything I had worked for because I only had a $300,000 limit on my auto insurance or something. So again, talk to your insurance agent. Look into some of these things are very, very inexpensive and can give you a lot of peace of mind. Peace of mind, yeah. Like I said, it's really inexpensive in terms of insurance as a whole.
Yeah, they just seem to have changed it now. So there's some people that are saying that they're only covering people that are listed in the insurance as drivers.
Right.
So now we have to add my daughter. I'm waiting for them to say, oh, well, you're adding her. Here you go.
Gotcha. So personal finance is personal, right? It's unlikely that anyone needs help with all of these topics, and these are just some of the topics I can work with people on. But we all need to work on something. We just don't need to all work on anything. So as a financial coach, I will meet you where you are in your journey, right? We talk about the areas that are your pain points or the areas you need to work on, and focus on the areas that are most productive to you. And of course, financial coaching is completely confidential. I would never disclose any clients that I'm working with or anybody's personal situation. You're welcome to share your success stories if you want and talk about them, but it's completely confidential. So just real quickly, kind of budgeting, we talked a little bit about that. What I will say is that is a huge focus in my practice. No matter where you are in your journey, I always work with people on that. Debt payoff, some people need it, some don't. Saving for college, this is what I like to call debt-free college planning, because starting off your professional life in the hole already is kind of the worst. You don't want to do that if you can. And believe it or not, there are ways to go to college debt-free. I did it 3 times, so it can be done. Student loans, I actually have some other information about how the CARES Act is affecting federal student loans. I won't share it right now, but if you are in a position where you're still paying federal student loans, or you have a child that's paying federal student loans and you're interested, come see me afterwards and I'll share that information with you. We talked a little bit about insurance, planning for retirement. This is like my favorite thing to talk about. It's where we get to dream, where we get to talk about your dreams and how you get to meet your dreams. It's, you know, it's really fun. And that can include talking about things that aren't so fun, like estate planning and stuff like that as well, but we can kind of cover all of those. And then crisis situations like collection agencies, bankruptcy, foreclosures. Again, I'm not a bankruptcy attorney, or I don't handle foreclosures or anything like that. My role is to kind of help educate you on what the process of these things are, try to help you avoid getting into these situations, see if we can find another way out, because these things can hurt you a lot if you get them going. And then household disaster planning tools. I talked a little bit about the Protect Your Family's Tree, and then another product that we're about to launch here in the next couple of weeks is a household disaster recovery workbook. And it's sounds like a lot of words, but it's a tool for disaster preparedness, resources, and customized plans for your household to mitigate and deal with disasters like weather emergencies, like fires, floods, hurricanes, terrorism, pandemics, whatever the case may be. So watch for that soon on my website or on my social media posts, but it's, again, going to be a very customized plan where you can sit down and say, these are ones that are pertinent to where we live or to our household, and if this happens, this is what we should do to protect ourselves, to mitigate, to recover from, you know, things like that. So if you're looking for a personalized plan, financial coaching is for you. Again, I educate, I help you plan for your money in your future, and I hold you accountable. And I've got a coupon offer for CrossFit Dynamo members. Come over to my table afterwards and get yours. It's 20% off any financial coaching package, and I will also throw in that Protect Your Family's Tree plan for free for any Dynamo members who sign up with me.
Zoom. What can our Zoom people do?
And our Zoom people, reach out to me. I will leave some coupons here at the box that you can pick up if you watch this on Zoom. And this can be for either you or your immediate family members as well, if you're all family. So, get your phones. Follow me, please, on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm very active on Facebook and Instagram. I post daily. I post personal finance tips, tools, motivation. I post funny memes, Julio. Just for you, man. And invite your family and friends, coworkers to follow me too. I do put a lot of free stuff out there that can help motivate you, can teach you some things you might never know, just some things like that. And I have those handles also on this coupon here that I'll give you, so if you don't find it right now, but it's at AJ Money Coach. Made it as easy as I could. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but tax day is July 15th. So if you remember way back in like March, when the government's like, oh, we're going to move tax day from April 15th to July 15th, and we all took a collective sigh of relief. Well, it's 18 days away, guys. 18 days away. So if you haven't filed, file. If you haven't paid, you need to pay by July 15th. So it's your friendly reminder.
I thought it was June 15th. I was freaking out like a couple Mondays ago.
Yeah. I did it on Zoom.
Oh, yeah, we had filed early March before it all hit, but there were some payments that I definitely haven't sent in yet. So I'm gonna hold on to my money as long as I can. It's checks written, sitting on the kitchen counter, but it's not going in the mailbox for another couple weeks. And that being said, let's see. I think that was it. I think I've got, we put your names in here for a raffle. I'm actually raffling off a new copy of the Total Money Makeover book by Dave Ramsey. If you've ever heard of this book, if you've read it before, share it with somebody in your life. I have read this book 10 years ago, completely changed my life. I reread it probably every 2 or 3 years. I've gifted this book probably 15 times to friends, family members, coworkers. Some probably threw it in the trash. Others have given me feedback that they really changed their life with it. So thanks for coming today. Thanks for joining us on Zoom. I would love to email everybody a copy of today's slides to kind of pique your interest. So I've got over here on my table a sign-up sheet. If you can come over and log your name in and your email, and anybody who's with us on Zoom, just go ahead and message me your email address, and I will get those slides out to you. So let's do the raffle real quick for those of us who are here, or you want to click off Zoom? Or you want to
I guess I'll take the record down, but we just want to thank you, Elise, for coming,
Yeah.
spending some time with us.
Thank you.
A lot of good nuggets in here. I hope you all got something great out of it. You can win the book. If you don't have a cross, we were talking about throwing in a Dynamo sticker or two for your car or whatever. I'm giving that to everybody that needs one right now. I want the Dynamo name out there. So if you want one of those, we're giving those away for you. Oh! Okay. Anyway, thank you for everything.
Thanks, John, for having me.
And I'm sure you're going to stick around to answer as many questions as possible. Cool. All right. Thanks so much.
Guys.